Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention a few minutes, so I don't want to belabor you too long before we get to dinner, because everybody might be one of the main things you came from. And I want to thank everybody for being here, and I guess more than anything, we want to thank you for such a great fair as we had last year. And I always keep thinking every year, I wonder if this thing's going to come together. There's so many loose ends, and of course, we all think that we have the best fair in Virginia, as Washington County does, and we do, and everybody does, and that's why we keep striving to make it better every year. But then when we get to the state convention, we have to prove it to somebody, and we've been very fortunate that 13 of the last 17 years we have proven it to them, and Washington County has received that award before also, and we appreciate their good help and the things they've done to help us and cooperate with us. And of course, there are many of you here, and there are scores of other people around the county that have helped make this fair come together, and I don't know how you'd count them all with the rescue squads and different people that help work the gates with Sexton and all those things that we do. And I guess you added them all together, I've been talking about 200, but they'd be well over 300, I'm sure, if you counted everybody. And we're so appreciative that some people maybe have a few hours to give, and some people give days and weeks even, so we appreciate everybody that makes the link of that chain come together. Each committee, of course, is very important. We've got 32 active working committees, and Nancy Burkett is one of those committees. Of course, she chairs 2 or 3 committees, but one of them she does is this banquet, appreciation banquet we have. So, Nancy, we appreciate what you do, and you've got a word or two you'd like to say before we get to the dinner table?
Yeah. Shouldn't have given me an opportunity. No, I was just going to tell people how to line up. All I wanted to do is sort of tell what tables to go first. The people that have a part up here, we might start before everybody gets through eating. So I think we'll let this table right here, and this one, and our guests from Abingdon, and probably Betsy back there, your table, because people have got to. These people have all got some kind of a speaking part on the program, so if you all give all of these people a chance to get up there and get in line before you fall in, then that'll be good. Thanks.
Yeah, Nancy, thank you and your committee for putting all this together, and we sure appreciate, you know, Betsy is kind of semi-retired from being our secretary that she has done for so many years, and she's done such a great job, and it's just kind of like her job is like the rest of them. Once you become involved in this fair, it's kind of like the mafia. You can't ever get out. Once you're in, you got to stay. And so she's still working with us very much. And of course, Trish is taking over that secretary's position. And not to belabor dinner, but Trish, you want to tell us just for a minute about the theme that's coming up this year and what we're trying to put together there.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to share the 2015 Russell County Fair and Horse Show theme with you, which is Barns, Boots, and Country Roots. Now there's many ways you can think about country roots, and one of the creative ways that we're thinking about it is relating to barns. As you travel down those country roads and you look at the barns, you see those beautiful quilt squares on the side of the barns. That's kind of like a family crest to folks. Each barn square means something. So we're going to have some classes on that with Donna Mead. You can look for that on Facebook and our app and in the local newspapers, maybe even on ARC TV. And you'd be able to learn more about that at the fair. And of course, boots, you see them right here on the table, and I know we'll be wearing them while we're at the fair. And barns as well is right on the front of your program. We'll be incorporating those too. And we thank you for sharing your ideas by becoming part of the fair by using the barns and boots in the art and agricultural ideas to put in with Jan. So like I can see birdhouses that are made out of boots, and I can see maybe some drawings and some photographs with boots and barns. So we look forward to participating and using our theme in many ways this year. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Trish. And before we have our blessing, we've got some special guests with us tonight. Irene and Charles Mead right here at the center table back here, and they've been very cooperative with us and working with things in the past, and they do a great job at the Washington County Fair. And then there's Kenneth and Deanna Reynolds from over there, and of course Kenneth's president of the fair over there, and they're very cooperative with us, and we get a lot of good ideas from each other. And Gail and Gary Dutton over there, Gary's a retired banker, but we don't hold that against him, but he's still very active in the fair over there. And we're pleased this year to have Rick and Brenda Thompson. Rick, where are you? Yeah, they're our treasurer of Russell County. He counts our money for us, and we appreciate that. Ernie Benko's back with us. Ernie, we're glad you're back with us. ARC TV, you do us a good job, and you help us in that TV presentation we put together at State. And I tell you, the history of this fair, we could all stand here and talk about people that have helped us through the years, but probably none no more than Ralph Sneed, who was the treasurer for so many years. He and Zan Stewart and a lot of people held things together at that time so that we can have what we have today. So, Ralph, we appreciate all that you all did for us. So, Joel Harrison, if you'll come up and have our blessing, well, we'll be ready to lead off in the order that Nancy talked to us about. Joel?
Would you bow with me, please? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to once again celebrate and recognize all those who make our county fair possible. We thank you for dedicated leadership, for the work of hundreds of volunteers, the support of our community that come together each year to provide for people of all ages a wholesome and fun-filled event. And we ask your guidance as we prepare our fair this year. We give you thanks now for all of our many blessings, for this food before us, those who prepared it. Strengthen and guide each of us in your service. In Jesus' name, amen.
Bessie with us tonight. She's, of course, our Miss Russell County Fair from 2014. And Danielle, you got a few words you'd like to say to everybody?
Hello, I'm Danielle, and I just want to tell you a little bit about myself in case anyone doesn't know. I'm from Castlewood, and I just graduated from UVA Wise last fall with a degree in business administration, and I just found out last month I've been accepted to law school at the Appalachia School of Law, so I'll start there in the fall. And I just want to say what a great opportunity it's been to be Miss Russell County this year. I've met a lot of wonderful people, and I participated in the Lebanon and Homeacre parades, and it was just great to see all the little kids that were so excited, and they would run up and tell their mom, say, "Oh, Mom, there's a princess, there's a princess." And it was just the sweetest thing. And I participated in the Virginia Association of Fairs pageant at the Homestead in January, and I met 20 wonderful girls up there, and it was just a great experience. And I just want to thank everyone for their support, and it's just an honor to represent this county in this fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, in about 3 or 4 years, if you need a good lawyer, you'll know who to call. And, well, we got another dignitary with us, C.H. Wallace, the mayor of Homeacre. He's with us here tonight. And, of course, he helped us a lot at the fair. They worked the gates down there different nights, and now he's on our board of directors. And and Heather Powers is here from the Lebanon News, and we appreciate the support that they give us throughout the year also. So, Sexton, I guess we're ready for a treasurer's report, kind of find out where the money is or where it went.
Good evening, everybody. I tell you what, it's a pleasure to stand here this evening and to look at this group of people, and I want to commend you for the efforts that you folks spend in support of this Russell County Fair. I can't commend you enough. You folks don't realize the importance of this Russell County Fair and what it means to be a part of it. You ought to go to the Virginia Association of Fairs and see how this fair is looked upon. It is one of the top fairs in the state of Virginia. Do you realize that? And you know why that's true? It's because of the people that are sitting here tonight. You, the people, we, the people. That's what happens. That's what makes it happen. It doesn't just happen, but people make it happen. Do you know that? I could preach a sermon on it, so to speak, of what it takes to make this fair happen. Gosh. Okay, I'm about to get carried away here just a little bit. Anyway, folks, I think there's some copies of the treasurer's report, and Nancy says, Sexton, don't make your report too long. She says, I have that tendency to make these reports too long. So if you can get a copy of the report, you can see the details and so on and so forth. I kind of paralleled it here with 2013, 2014. So if you'll look over under the column of 2014, that's where my focus could be is. I would have to say that this past year was a down year for us. If you recall, it was a kind of a wet year. I don't think the economy was the best. It seemed like every time we looked up, you'd see showers, you'd see the rain going around and about, and I'm sure that impacted the admission and so forth at the gate. If you see, I just want to call attention to that admission there. This year for 2014, and $139,249, and that is one of the lowest admissions that we have had for the Russell County Fair. I could have dug into my records after we have gone to Castlewood, and I could have told you exactly where that stands. Just wanted to mention the fact that the admission was down this year, and we had a kind of a rough year. You can look then at some of the big sources of income down through there. Then you can look at the big sources of expenses, some of the big sources of expenses. Of course, the operation, I believe if you look at that 96,000 plus, that's probably the biggest that we've ever had, I believe. Even when it was out here, certainly it was nothing like that. We went to Castlewood in 1985. I know that's the biggest we've ever had at Castlewood, is $96,189.69. That was big. Of course, people all the time talking about the entertainment, what the entertainment costs. But let me tell you folks something. I want to wake you up a little bit. Entertainment runs for 8 days, okay? And when you put entertainment in there for 8 days, it adds up, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? Then that bottom line thing there, that's what you're looking at there. That is what would you call it, the annual report. That's the bottom line for the annual report. We have 3 accounts actually. The operational account, we have an operational account, a capital account, and then we have a raffle account or a cash giveaway or whatever you want to call it. I'd have to say that this cash giveaway account has really been good. It's made us some money, and it's something that is real beneficial to the Russell County Fair Association, okay? All right, we do have an outstanding debt load, if you would look there, with the BB&T Bank. With the BB&T Bank, we have a debt load there, well, let's call it $50,000. I've been working with the bank today to go ahead and extend that debt load, not to add to it, but to continue it, to keep it alive, so to speak. So you might as well just call it a $50,000 debt load that we have with our Fair Association. But we also have a credit line with First Bank and Trust. We have a $50,000 credit line with First Bank and Trust, okay? So we haven't touched that. And let me also give some special thanks to people that, I'm chairman of the Gates too, and let me give some special thanks. I want to say, and they're not all here, these folks. I don't know why they aren't here, but I want to give special thanks to them anyway. Elsie Keith, Nancy Perkins, Norma Addington, Joel Harrison over here, Ernie Perkins over here, and then, of course, Ed Kegley, he used to man that white gate for it. That's our exit gate. Couldn't get along without folks like this. Then John Robinson over here. No, John, what'd I call you, John? John, what is it, John? I call him John Robinson. Okay. Anyway, John Blevins, isn't it? Isn't that right? It's John Blevins. John Blevins. Okay. Betsy Brown and season ticket sales at the gate. He's sitting right here. Adam Wilson. These folks are very important and have a tremendous impact upon the Russell County Fair. With that said, I will shut up and say thank you once again for the support that you give to the Russell County Fair Association. Thank you very much.
Well, I guess the bottom line was last year we operated in the red, but there are probably some reasons for that, several. I think the big one was everywhere in the county and Washington County and everywhere, most every night it was raining when we were having the fair. And of course, a few nights we had dry weather at the fair, but it was raining everywhere else. But I remember one night it was raining so hard in Honaker, I figured maybe it ran them out. I believe that was the night of the Russell County Horse Show. Everybody in Honaker was in Lebanon, CH, and we appreciated that. And but we, all the improvements, well, I've got a list of everything we've spent every year in major capital improvements down at the fairground. And that list now totals over $1 million in major improvements, not including a lot of the freebies that you all have given, and of course your time would have been several more million, I'm sure. But we've made at least over $1 million worth of capital improvements since we've been down there. So right now we're maybe 45 or so in the red from last year. But I think with some careful planning and maybe some good weather this year, we can pull out of that. Also last year we made a lot of major improvements at the fairground, a lot of things that you can't see, some underground power, underground water, and different things that we made improvements down there, and that contributed to the red on the bottom line. So we'll try to improve on that this year. Maybe we won't have to spend as much on those capital improvements. Also, we appreciate all the major sponsors we've had. There are probably about $39,000 in major sponsor money that comes into the fair, as well as that gator giveaway that Adam and Becky and some of them are heading up this year. And that has really helped us too to make some of the major improvements we've done there. So Nancy, if you'd like to talk to us now about the entertainment coming up for 2015.
First of all, before I get to the entertainment, I would like to thank a few people that helped with this dinner, and I want to thank Donna Meade and Betsy Brown for all the beautiful quilts and all the way they arranged them. It's lovely. And I want to thank Trish Harris for printing our programs and the treasurer's reports and all the other good things that she's been doing since she took over as our new secretary. I want to thank Jan Harrison and Betsy for helping me decorate today. And Mary Ann Honaker and Carolyn Farley helping Jan at the door at the reservation. And I want to thank Scott Jesse for doing our program tonight. Appreciate him very much. And my husband Sexton, he always types up my list of reservations and puts them in alphabetical order for me, so that works out really good. And anybody else that helped in any way, thank you. And Also, I think we're going to be seeing a little movie a little bit later too that Sarah and Adam Wilson have put together. And Scott is going to show it, and Adam is going to tell us about it. I think he just now found this out. But anyway, to get to the entertainment, like it was said before me that we kind of got in a hole a little bit on the fair last year, so we were cutting way back on the music this year. And I have three that's still to be announced. I'm going to be using local people, and I have a lot of people that have approached me, and I haven't made the decision yet on those two. And in our booking agent, Bobby McGland, he's going to book a couple of things for us this year on the last Friday and Saturday. And we did get Friday nailed down yesterday. A newcomer called Matt Mason is going to be here for Friday night, and we've still got Saturday night to fill. Wednesday night, our Bluegrass night, we've got the Virginia Ramblers from Charlottesville, and they're a really good group, and we'll probably get a local Bluegrass group to open for them. On the first Saturday, we have Folk Soul Revival, which is a very popular local type group. I think most of them from Wise County, and they have a good following. And then on Monday night, Labor Day night, we're having Marty Rabin. We had him last year. He puts on a terrific show. He was part of the Bluegrass Festival that they had over in Bristol a couple of weekends ago, and they said he drew a huge crowd, so we hope he'll do that for us this year. And opening for him is Jeff Brown and his Bluegrass band, and Jeff is once responsible for getting Marty for us at a reasonable price. So I think we're going to have a good lineup all in all. And on Thursday night, Gospel Night, Sam Whited and Linda, oh my gosh, drawing a blank, one of those senior moments. Hubbard, thank you. Linda Hubbard, and they do the Gospel Night, and they have a good lineup with Paul Williams, the Primitive Quartet, and the Jubilaires. And anyway, it's going to be a good week, and if the rain will hold off, we ought to do really well. Thank you.
In 1990, for the first time, we went to Virginia Association of Fairs in Williamsburg, and we've had a representation there every year since that. We've really picked up a lot of good ideas from the different speakers and presentations that are made there. And Ernie and Nancy Perkins have been going with us for the last few years. And Ernie, they're going to give us a report on what happened up there this year. Ernie, Nancy?
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. As he says, the Virginia Association of Fair Conference, it's held in Hot Springs, Virginia, which is near Covington. And it's during first weekend or second weekend, depending on how January comes in. I was asked to say a thing or two about it. The first thing I could think about was all the good food they have up there. But I think Mr. Burkett wanted me to say a little bit about some of the educational programs that they have. They give us a little packet when we go in and a name tag because they know we're going to get lost in the homestead. But the homestead is the only facility in the state of Virginia that can actually house the conference. If you go to Williamsburg or somewhere else, you got to go to a building over here, building over there, drive across town. But up to Homestead, they have quite a bit of room, and they can have a lot of different programs going at the same time. In that packet that they give us, you have a little guide, and Nancy and I, when we get there, we just use this as a more or less a plan out the weekend. They have their sponsors listed, pretty much like any excuse me, anyone else, and they have the directors and the board, what have you, listed. We do have a couple people from our area that's on the board of directors and officers. Dr. Burkett is the state treasurer for the Virginia State Association, and Mr. Kenneth Reynolds from over in Washington County, he's on the board. And I think that's all it's on right now from our area, but we have a very good presentation, from a representation from our area. Now, some of the educational part that they have up there, different sessions and so forth, for example, things like putting out newsletters to communicate with your readers and so forth. They have a workshop on that to sort of help increase the attendance and so forth. We do have some things like on medical emergencies on your fairgrounds, things that we run into every year. They do have these workshops. Safety for the different events and so forth. Also working with volunteers. Several different workshops. If you go to the State Fair conference, you'll need to go on Thursday, so you can go to the welcome get-together on Thursday night. They have that there in the downtime restaurant in the motel, serving complimentary tea and this, that, what have you. And they have quite a few munchies there. Very good, as a matter of fact. They have good food up there. They also have a few games down there that you can play, but then Friday morning you really get down to business. You go into these different sessions. That's why you're there. You are learning things to bring back to share with your fair. Friday is a full day. Saturday, a full day. And on Saturday afternoon, they have a talent showcase. Many different groups and so forth are there, and you can book these groups if you have the monies to do it with. They really have a good talent show. And Saturday night, they wrap up with a great meal. They have good food up there. And they always have a special guest speaker. And this year we had John Riggins from the Washington Redskins. He was known as the Diesel. Some of you younger folks probably don't remember this, and some of the older ones know him very well. He gave an excellent speech and talk and so forth at the Saturday night wrap-up. Then on Sunday, we have the privilege of going to the beauty pageant for the State Fair Association, and we were very well represented this year. Miss Jessie, we thank you very much. Last year, we had Miss Leah Cordell. She did win the State Fair Association Queen for last year, and we appreciate her. Attendance, okay, we had 22 people registered from our fair. That was some of the higher numbers from the different fairs. Some of them were not able to go. We missed them, but anyway. As far as the State Fair Association, it is sort of the organizer for all the fairs, and we have had a past president from our fair, Mr. Dave Leonard, in the year of 2000 was the State Fair president. But to wrap up quickly, they do have good food up there. But between you and me, it's not any better than what we had tonight. And if you get a chance to go, I'm sure you'll learn some things to bring back with you. And this year, Mr. Leonard's already mentioned, we have been the #1 fair in the state of Virginia 13 out of the last 17 years. And again, we were #1. Thank you.
How was the food up there, Ernie?
They have good food up there. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this year there were about 700 people from across the state at the Virginia Association of Fairs. There are about 54 fairs in Virginia, and I think 40-some of them were represented there. So the other thing about going to the homestead during this time, normally it costs you probably $350 a night to stay up there. But if you go during this, and any of you that want to go next year, it'll be probably first or second weekend of January, you can go during this time for about $120 a night. So that's a bargain in itself besides the education you get. Scott Jesse's got a real good program for us, and Scott, you'll come up here and get going with that.
All right, guys, good to be here. Appreciate Nancy's invitation to talk a little bit about participating in the Russell County Fair. It's good to see our friends from Washington County, the Reynoldses and the Meads. We're glad to have you all tonight. We'll talk just a little bit about what it means to participate in the Russell County Fair and the different perceptions that sometimes we have. Unless you're on the board or been on the board or in this group in this room, you don't realize that the fair is a year-round event. It goes on from fair time all the way till fair time again. There's somebody working and planning monthly to make that thing happen. And Sexton tells us often how much money it takes just to open the gate that very first night. So it's a year-round fair, and it's a very important event. Now, we don't think about the importance of this event. It's the only thing that brings us everybody together in Russell County other than the funeral home and going to church is the fair. And when we think about it, I think it's probably the #1 educational event that happens in the summer. And we have a tremendous opportunity to visit with people and to teach them something. Now, we get common questions of fairgoers. If you visit about the Russell County Fair, you'll hear these questions, or you'll get these questions asked to you. And one that I get very often, I'm sure the rest of you do too: do you have any free passes, and can I get in for free? All right, #2, if this is like Family Feud, everybody trying to guess the ones, this is kind of what it was when we was putting these together. I called Betsy and she helped me work through these. #2 would be, what's the entertainment lineup? What are the dates of the fair? Now, we've been having the fair the same time, same place for a long time, but that's still one of the top 3 or 4. Can I just go in and get some food without paying general admission? I'll just go in and get it and I'll go right back out. I won't even talk to anybody. All right. The next one is, why can't I take my German Shepherd dog to the lamb show? Now, if you've never had lambs, you maybe don't understand that, but that one's a tough one. Can you not park these cars any faster? Man, it sure is muddy. Is the judge here yet? And a lot of you guys chair something, if you're waiting on the judge, that can be a fearful time when you get right down on it and there's no judge standing there. There's only so many jokes you can tell them while you're waiting. But I think these are common questions of fairgoers. Now, there's certainly different perceptions about going to the fair. Now, if you're sitting out on the hillside, you have a certainly different perception than somebody that's taking care of one of the events. You know, if you're out on the hillside just kind of hanging out, the typical fairgoer, you go to see your friends and get something good to eat. Maybe if you're smaller, you like the rides. I'm to the point in life that I'm not as excited about the rides. I do like to see the animals and the entertainment. Now, if you're working for the fair or you're a fair volunteer and I call you a fair employee, they says like a mafia a while ago, once you was in, you couldn't get away. I think the fair person, chairperson, committee person, likes being a part of a major event, and they like that atmosphere of the fair. They like seeing things come together and have a successful fair, and they have pride in their events. You see your friends, similar to our friend on this side, and you might get time to eat if you get a minute, but a lot of times you're busy all the way through. So if we think about the fair and we think about the agriculture community, you know, we do a lot of things to draw industry into Russell County, but agriculture is still the largest industry in the county. It generates about $23 million in 2012, and Adam, I'd say with the increase in cattle prices, we're closer to 40 or probably over. So it's a $40 million industry, and we have a really good opportunity to showcase it and to talk to people about it. you think the average age of the farmer is about 58 years old, and it's been on a steady increase for the last 30 years. This was in the 2012 Ag Census, and we need to do what we can to encourage younger people to participate in agriculture, and there's a group Adam's been working with and several others to get FFA back in the high schools, and how important that is to get young people interested and funneled in that way, because everybody in here, even Ernie, he said the food up there at Homestead is real good. I kind of like to eat here in Russell County too. So it's really important that we funnel young people into that particular business to keep us all fed. And we have a lot of young people showcasing their agriculture projects, whether it's in 4-H or FFA. And you know, we live in a rural place, but there's certainly a disconnect between agriculture and people now. We used to go and we do field days for young kids in the high schools and sometimes in the elementary schools, and you'd ask them how many people live on a farm, and it'd be just very few hands go up. And you'd say, well, what about grandparents? And they'd be a few more, and you'd say, and then there'd be some say, well, I think my great-grandparents had a farm. So we're more disconnected than you think, even right here in Russell County. So it's a good time for us to visit with people that are not on the farm and teach them something while they're at the fair. Now, this is one of the favorite things of the fair. This is an old McDonald's farm, right as the little ducks take that jump right off down into the water. And we have all those baby animals and all those things to look at, and I think that's one of the most important things of the fair, especially agriculturally, because you got to get these kids while they're young and catch them quick. You know, catch your interest, and this is a way we get that done. Now, as we go on along, for my aspect of the fair, you know, we exhibit animals, and I think this is exhibiting at its best when you got little people bringing their calf to show. We have a lot of fun with that down in the barn. Now, this is a new project we've done about 3 years. The Chicken Project, 4-H sponsors it, and you sign up and you get 15 baby chicks, and you take the chicks through the summer, feed them, bring them in, and then we have a chicken show at the fair. And if you've never been to a chicken show, they're hard to lead. They're hard to lead. You have to get them out one by one, and the judge checks them out. But there's one of our winners right here at the Russell County Fair down at the barn. A new project that we've had highlighted last year was the 4-H Market Hog Project, Hog Wild and Pig Crazy. Right here are pigs when we went down to pick them up in North Carolina and brought them back. And here's an older picture. All my pig pictures last year failed, but this is a picture from the year before. This is Cole Jesse with his reserve champion pig. So we have a good time exhibiting pigs at the fair. The Market Lamb Project is one that we've done forever. A good project, you know, teaches kids responsibility and animal handling. It's always a good one. And if you look around, this is what you'll see. If you've got somebody showing animals, especially with little people, by about the end of the day, most time granddaddy or dad or somebody's wore completely out and ready to curl up on the sacks and take them a little nap. Now, there's a renewed interest in self-sufficiency. We get questions at the Extension office all the time about canning stuff. People calling Donna wanting to know how to can this and preserve this and dry this. There's renewed interest in that. I think a lot of processed food, and people want things, you know, that they know what's in it. There's renewed interest in self-sufficiency, and the fair helps us showcase that, and I think it encourages people to be more self-sufficient. Now, here's James Wesley. He's on our entertainment side. He was one of our entertainers for last year, and as Sexton said a while ago, it takes a lot of money to bring these entertainers in, and we try to do that to the best of our ability. And you know, that's a draw for different people. People come to the fair for different reasons, but you got to get them there before you can teach them something. So we do the best we can with that. Hey, buddy. My man is on the loose. All right. Now, there's nothing better than being at the fair when the sun comes back out and you can see the black clouds kind of leaving. Got a little bit of water here in the corner, but when the sun comes out, there's no better place. And I hope we've encouraged you to think about the fair in a different light, what we can do, you know, to teach others about agriculture and about all the different exhibits. Bring something special to the fair, and Dave mentioned all the committees a while ago and how important they are, everybody working together to get this done. So I'd like to thank you for what you do and encourage you to keep going on. And at this time, Adam's going to come up. We've got a video that showcases all these things that we've talked about really well, and we're going to let Adam tell you about it, and I'll try to get it up.
Thank you, Scott. Well, I guess I just figured I had to do this here a few minutes ago, but to give you a little summary of what you're getting ready to watch, we have been doing some prototype work with John Deere at my farms in Abingdon on their John Deere Gators for the last 3 years. There are 6 different farms that John Deere Incorporated has been working with. We're the only one on the East Coast. The other 5 are on the other side of the Mississippi. And it was a big honor to get asked to do this, I guess. They wanted to do a video, which they did at the other 5 locations as well. And they wanted to do it when we were in a very busy time, when we wean all of our spring calving calves in October, between the 2 different farms, between my wife's farm here in Lebanon and my farm in Abingdon. So we had 2 guys that flew drones, get all the aerial shots in this. They were from Texas, and 6 other cameramen on their camera crew, from North Carolina. They were here with us on Friday when we weaned calves at my farm in Abingdon, and they were here the very next day when we weaned calves here in Lebanon. And anybody that has cattle, you realize, you probably already know, when you're trying to wean calves, everything usually doesn't go the way it should. Try doing it with 6 cameras in your face and a drone flying overhead. It's sort of tough, but we got through it. And the guys from Texas reminded us with the drones, and they said, whatever you do, when you're riding out through there, do not look at the drone, because they wanted it to look like, you know, nothing was going on. They didn't know where the cameras and angles were coming from. The hardest thing for my wife was not to look at the drone. But you could hear it going overhead, so you sort of wanted to look and see where that thing was. But we had a good time doing this, and as my friend Alex Anderson said, it took him 3 boxes of tissues to get through it. But they were here with us for 2 days filming, and they come up with a 4-minute clip. So, Scott? It was a cloudy day.
Come back to this as soon as they get everything rolling. It's wonderful. It's worth every second we're waiting for. I've watched it a couple times myself. To start, I wanted to read our mission statement for the Russell County Fair. And it's listed here in the program, but sometimes hearing words kind of brings your heart to light. So, the purpose of the Russell County Fair Association shall be to provide agricultural, educational, and recreational activities for county citizens and citizens of the surrounding area. This shall be accomplished through exhibits, competitive events, featured entertainment, and horse shows. And based on that, I'd like to share with you our new directors that have joined the Russell County Fair Association, which this year are Donna Mead, C.H. Wallace, Tara Justice, and Sarah Wilson. And I think everybody might have a job already, and they're busy helping out. And we want to thank the people that just left the board this year for their services, but of course they're not done yet. We got that earlier on this evening. They're here to stay. Ernie Perkins, Carter McLaughlin, Adam Wilson, and Pat Brannon. We want to share with you our upcoming events, but before I start into that, I also want to thank people from the time that I spoke earlier on. They could see the vision running through my head about all the different country routes. I've had several people come up and share their ideas of country routes, and I agree with all of them, from music to genealogy to historical aspects. There's just so many wonderful things that we're going to be able to bring into the fair this year. So I thank you for sharing those ideas, and I'll try and put them down on paper so I don't forget them. But our upcoming events also tie into roots. The first thing we're having is in a couple weeks, and you have those pink pieces of paper on your table. There's our community yard sale. And I've been going through the house from time to time, collecting a few things that I'm going to donate. So that would help with the yard sale, because we're doing 3 different aspects. We'll be selling stuff under the Russell County Fair, and we'll take all your donations. If you want to feel uncluttered, we'll take it for you, and we'll get it sold. Or if you find out that you're putting boxes and boxes of stuff together, and you're looking and saying, I think I'd like a little bit of extra money this summer to go visit all the fairs in VAF, then you can rent a spot, and you can come out and you can sell your own stuff. And if you don't want to do any of that, you just come shop. Find yourself some new treasures, and that would be great. That's the 24th and 25th of April. The donations that were taken in on April 18th from 10 to 12, not on that paper, Facebook. And Thursday, April 23rd from 7 to 9. And some people will be setting up then. Again, not on that paper, but on Facebook. The next upcoming event, which will be Neat Country Roots, is we are hosting a Russell County Hoedown. August 29th is going to be our opening to the fair, because the fair is late this year. It's September 4th through the 12th. So on August 29th, Carter's getting together a hoedown for us, and there'll be local music. We're going to do some good old-fashioned dancing and probably make up a few new dances as well. And there'll be concessions at all of these events by the fair. Sue's going to be our chairperson for that. And then after the fair, we're hosting a holiday craft show. Patsy's taking care of that. That's going to be October 2nd and 3rd, and we'll have all these details posted on Facebook and on our app and local newspaper and ARC TV. And now I'd like to share some awards that are for our chairmen and directors and officers of the Russell County Fair. I have to get them though, so I'm going to do magic, go down and come back up. Ta-da! They had a magician at VAF, and he was doing all kinds of great magic all over actually it wasn't even just on the stage, it was all over the homestead. He was doing magic. Did you want to hand to them? Okay. Okay. We have Matthew Adams, and I don't know who's here, but if you're here, stand up, come on up, and we usually do a picture. And Heather, would you like a picture on a lighted side, probably, yes? Maybe over on the dance floor this year? Okay, we'll go to the dance floor. Sheila Adams for school day games. Mike Altizer for horseshoe pitching. Yep. Darlene Austin for commercial exhibits. Ron Blankenship for wrestling. We're gonna go over to the dance floor. Oh, sure. I like that idea.
Come on, Darlene, we'll go back.
Sue Blevins for the fairgrounds office. Betsy Brown for secretary. Did you want to hand them to you and you can, I can keep going? There we go. Pat Branton for advertisement distribution. Go ahead, go with Betsy. Kim Brown for photography. Martin Burke for antique tractor pull show. Nancy Burkett for appreciation dinner, entertainment, and country bluegrass. Sexton Burkett, Gates, and treasurer. Rick and Betty Carpenter for the tough truck pull. Wayne Collins, 5-year director. Eric Deskins for Strongest Farmhand Competition. Linda Dickinson for General Store. Cornelia Estep for Local Talent Showcase. Robert Farmer for 3-year Director. Carolyn Fields for Horse Shows. Jenny Fields for School Days. Clyde Garrett for Demolition Derby. Angie Gibson for Concessions, Outside Exhibits, and Website. Doris and Richard Hall for Chair Rentals. Matt Harris for Photography and Special Needs Day. Jan Harrison for Home Economics, Agricultural Exhibits. Joel Harrison for Marketing and Assistant Treasurer. Susan M. Hilton for First Aid. Dallas Hubbard for Grounds. Vice President, Rental Grounds, Grounds Maintenance, and Physical Facilities. Jean and Jackie Hubbard for Baby Crawl, Toddler, Stick Horse, and Boot Race. Roger and Linda Hubbard for Tough Truck Pull. Oop. And, they're sticking. Lawnmower Race, Entertainment, and Gospel. Howard Jesse for Bull Riding. Scott Jesse, 2-year Director. Ruth Johnson, Pet Show. Peggy Keith for Letter Signs. David A. Leonard II for Announcer. Mary A. Leonard for Fair Bits. Matt Lindemood for Corporate Sponsors. Shirley Lunsford for Senior Citizens Day. Carter McLaughlin, 1-year Director. Donna Mead for Baconlicious Cooking Contest. William Monk for Youth Tractor Driving Contest. Terry McReynolds for Old McDonald's Farm. Michael Moore for Ranch Rodeo. Lois Morrison for Sponsor Hospitality. Sorry. Charlie Ray for Ground Cleaning Crew and Parking. Jason and Kim Monk, ATV Rodeo. Ernie and Nancy Perkins, Old Time Exhibits, Signs, Banners, Picnic Tables, 1-year Director, 5-year Director.
You got it all.
Yep, they're a full package deal. Loie and Galena Perkins for Old Time Exhibits, Teddy Phillips for Cornhole Toss, Patsy Phillips for Photography and 4-year Director, Whitney Phillips for Miss Russell County Fair Pageant, Bob Ramey for Announcer, Harold Richardson for Genealogy, Dr. Peg Rucker, 4-year Director, Karen Sayers, Great Gator Lawnmower Raffle, Paul Sanders, Grounds Maintenance, Ted and Sue Slack for Art Exhibits, Ann Taylor for Cookbook, Jimmy Taylor for Car Show, Jane Thornhill for Ex Officio, Bobby Vencel for Draft Horse Show and Pull, okay. Brian Vencel for Ranch Rodeo, Bill and Luann Wallace for Grounds Beautification, Bruce Warner for Livestock, Sam, there, right here. Sam Whited for Entertainment and Gospel, Adam Wilson for Season Ticket Passes, 1-year Director, Katie Wise for 3-year Director, and thank you everyone. Without you, I don't know what we would do. We really appreciate everything you guys, gals, kids, everyone does to bring the Russell County Fair to life. Thank you.
You ready, Scott? Okay. Maybe, yeah.
Come this way. No, come this way. No, yes. No. Let Mama get a picture. Come on, come this way.
You get you a good seat. I believe Scott's got the show ready to go.
My wife and I, our operations, we run both separately. She has her operation, Leonard Lane Livestock, and I have mine, Wilson Cattle Company. At the same time, we work together. Our family helps her family, and her family helps my family.
My father started this farm, and I was just fortunate enough to be born here and, of course, raised here, and always involved with it. So.
The cattle that we run on both of our operations are commercial cows. We use all purebred Angus bulls to breed our cows with. We cross some of the cattle up with other breeds to get all the hybrid vigor that we can, all the good traits from the other breeds, and put them all together so we have one good product. The calves that we have been weaning here recently is out of our spring herd. We wean these calves, give them all their vaccinations, and put them on feed, get them used to eating feed out of feed bunks, get them used to waters, get them over all their stresses. We don't run our cattle, we try to stay as calm around our cattle as we possibly can. And if you keep them calm, then they're easy to work, easy to move around, easy to get to follow you to go to another pasture. The calmer the calves are, of course, the less stressed they will be, the healthier they will be. And then we'll shift these calves out west at the end of 60 days to go on feedlots. We market all of our cattle together, which when you have more cattle to market at one time, you get more leverage on price. We have built a great reputation with our cattle with the feedlots out west.
I'm really proud of this operation because it's something that my dad started and that my brother and myself and my husband and now my family are able to continue it on. Family is the most important thing to me.
My wife is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Without a doubt, I admire most Adam's heart. He has such a big heart, and he'll always give me his honest opinion about things. And he's a wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to the farming operation and cattle.
The thing that makes me the proudest is that we are a family business. My grandfather was probably my role model, the man that I looked up to every day of my life. I was on his heels ever since I could probably walk. And there's not a day goes by now that I don't think of him and ask myself, now what would he do? He was a great inspiration in my life, and still is.
I'd say probably from the time I was a little girl, I knew that I wanted to be here and would want to stay here and work here. I've always enjoyed being out on the farm, and it's just, it's not just a job, it's more or less a way of life.
That's the thing I treasure the most. I really love family, and I love working with family. My name's Adam Wilson, and I live for this.
Really, the way all that came about, Adam got them lined up because we'd bought a few gators, and I guess that helped a little bit. And they came in, 8 of them stayed. So as Adam said, they'd tell us not to look at the buzzards overhead, but kind of hard not to sometimes, so they cut all that out. So Darlene Austin, would you tell us about the Fair Person of the Year, and then we're going to get into the Heritage Award.
Well, first I'd like to say that it's an honor for me to introduce the recipient of the Fair Person of the Year this year. They have worn several hats. Through some of the hats, they didn't fit too well. But even though that, she made them fit through each situation. And somehow they always seem to work out. This person has served as a director on the board, always offering honest and helpful feedback to any topic coming before the board. Their duties as a volunteer for the fair, unfortunately, it's a 13-month job, and it's not the normal 9 to 5 that you think. They start with phone calls at work, or maybe phone calls at home. Then they have people drop in to see them with an urgent problem that only the person can take care of. This person has handled their responsibilities as chairman of concessions and outside exhibits in exemplary fashion. The way they keep everything flowing and mostly everyone happy has always been an amazement to me, and the fact that they still have hair is a miracle. I'm sure by now you've guessed the honor of the Fair Person of the Year is our very own Miss Angie Gibson. Angie, I knew I was going to say that. Angie, I really don't know how you do all you do. From covering as a fill-in secretary when asked, and taking on the shared job of the website, to doing such an amazing job with the concessions and taking care of all the bad-tempered people, as well as a few good-tempered ones, and still being able to keep a smile on your face and being able to laugh about it later when you share the story to us in the office. I just want to say that you're a great asset to this fair, and we sure are lucky to have such a person as you that's willing to do whatever you've asked to do and do it well. This year's Fair Person of the Year is Miss Angie Gibson. Wow, I had no idea. This past year has been really difficult for me. I lost my mom, and I don't feel like I did the fair justice. I tried. I did put up with a lot of headaches, but it was worth it because I enjoy it. I love meeting the people. I love being with you all. I'm lucky that I work for a bank that will allow me to take the time off to do this and to take phone calls at work and to do part of this job at work. I just love all of you. I thank you.
Jan Harrison, if you're going to do volunteer services for us, please. Where did Jan go?
Hi. Hi. Well, I was going to open with a famous quote from a famous, well-known fair person. Fairs don't just happen, the people make them happen. The sexton beat it to me, but that's all right, it was his quote. So, this award, or these awards, is something new this year, and it came about in quite a different way. Last year, I sent around a sheet of paper to upgrade our addresses, phone numbers, and in a column, I asked for them to put down how many years they had been working with the fair. It was amazing when I got them back. You take it for granted, you see these people year after year, and you just don't realize how long they've been there. But tonight, we want to recognize some people for all their many years of service that they have given to the fair. They work many long hours, and we work that department with about 30 people. And they're all there. You don't have to worry about them coming. Some come in a little later than the others, but they get there nevertheless. But without any further ado, I would like to ask these people to come up, and we have a little presentation to give them. So I'll start out with Lois Mead. Lois had been with the fair for 22 years. She's not here tonight, I don't think. Virginia Steffi has been with the fair for 24 years. Virginia, if you will come up. Callie Mosier has been with the fair for 30 years, and one of her little notes is seems like it's been forever. So, Helen Owen has been with the fair for 20 years. Virginia? Callie. Pat Gray. Pat Gray has been with the fair for 30 years.
Jan, you want all of them to stay up there to get a picture?
Yeah, we would like a picture. Jean Wallace has been with the fair for 30 years. So. Okay. Okay, who we got now? This is Lois is right. Okay, Connie Mullins, I saved for last. Connie has been with the fair for 30 years plus. Connie and I started out in Lebanon with the fair, so we're probably a permanent fixture. How do you want to do that? Since everyone has gone back to their seat, why don't you stay just a few minutes after the meeting is over, and we'll meet over here and get pictures, okay?
Well, another one of our coveted awards is the Heritage Award, and I believe Betsy is substituting tonight to make that presentation.
Linda Dickinson was our recipient last year and was unable to be with us tonight, so it is my pleasure to fill in for her. And if you'll let me, I know the evening has gone a little bit long, but you know, this is like a big family, and it's like you came here specifically tonight. You came here, like we say in church, you came here to get in, not to get out, right? Okay. But I just want to take a personal second and tell you all thank you so much for allowing me to be your secretary for all these years. It's been a high honor. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have grown up with the fair. The fair has grown. It has prospered. It has been successful. And it's because of all of you, and it's going to continue to be successful. You have a young lady now who is going to help you coordinate everything that goes on at the fair. She's highly capable, highly talented. I can't say enough. I thank Trish. You all don't know what a marathon this has been to get all of this together, because we are a month earlier than normal, and it's trading out, transferring out papers, files, computers, everything that has to be done. It's not easy. Now, our fair theme this year, Barns, Boots, and Country Roots. This is one of the sweetest things that I have seen in working with Trish about this theme, and it tells me her heart, because I think Barns, I think Boots, let's think Boots, I think Country Roots, I think, about quilts and canning and crops and farm and equipment and all that kind of stuff. But Trish remembers behind every bit of that, every stitch that goes into these, every lid that goes on a can that's canned, there is a person behind it. There are people who do it. And to borrow from Sexton's, I can't repeat it again, but it is the people. You all are the people, and I thank you so much. Just keep on working, work with Trish, keep on working, and just make it even better. Trish is going to make it even better too, because she's young. She's going to take you all into the digital age with this fair and everything too. So now let me get into this wonderful Heritage Award.
Give Beth a big hand for all of her years and being our secretary.
Thank you all very much. It's been my pleasure to work with Trish, and I'll continue to do so until she tells me quit. But now let's talk about our Heritage Award recipient for this year. Now, this person, having grown up on a farm in Russell County, agricultural and farm equipment are no strangers to this year's Heritage Award recipient. After leaving the county for Newport News, she was employed by Dow Chemical Company until the early 1980s, when she returned to Russell County. Her connection to the Russell County Fair began when she was asked to fill in for 1 year for her sister. That 1 year eventually led her to working the Russell County Fair for the past 30 years, or as she has put it, forever. She has served in the Home Economics and Agriculture Department faithfully throughout the years, checking in and out thousands of baked goods entries. She is an active member of the Elk Garden United Methodist Church and the UMW, and has served as past president of the United Methodist Women. One of her many talents is baking. She is known in her community as an outstanding baker and often provides members of her church baked goodies on Sunday morning. Now, what church is that? Elk Garden. Now y'all know where to get some baked goodies. She is probably the oldest active member of the Russell County Fair, and will celebrate her 91st birthday in June. We look forward to many more years of her service to the Russell County Fair. I am pleased to announce the recipient of the 2014 Heritage Award, Kelly Moser. your picture after all, aren't we? Right here is your picture board award. We did find some pictures of you. And you have the trophy. Alex. Oh. Don't hit me with it. Were you ever in the Marines? No. You would have been a good one. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3.
She teaches our Sunday school class in Elk Garden, and she brings us something good to eat about every morning. And rhubarb's about ripe, so we're going to have rhubarb and strawberry pie.
Yeah, that's what you say. Thank you all very much. This is very unexpected, and when you put up with some of those people that brings stuff to the fire, you feel like you've been a Marine.
Now, Nancy, you got door prizes for us before we adjourn?
This won't take very long. I think it's kind of orderly this year. As long as you people that win will be orderly about it. Now, don't stampede going up there to get your prize. If you'll turn your program over on the back, if you've got a little colored dot, either green or pink or orange, it's got a number on it. Jan Harrison and Marianne Honig are going to be over here at the table. And all you got to do is take your little program up there with your number on it, and they'll find the prize that matches it. So, anyway, I believe that's